Pollinators is a wonderful topic for biodiversity, and they provide starting points for ethics-led action learning towards more sustainable lifestyles. How do we reverse the global decline of bees is a really enormous question, and other pollinators, to ensure human food security. And although it's a big question, it can be explored practically at a local level. So how were things in the past? We can tune in to curriculum concerns through a story like the widening use of pesticides has affected the population of pollinators all over the world. Today, many food gardeners in the Eastern Cape do not use pesticides and plant poppies to attract the bees to their vegetable gardens. And they also attract other insects using different flowers as well. There are also a move to plant meadows of wildflowers to support pollinators and to add to the picturesque beauty of open spaces in urban areas. Farmers often plant a crop that flowers to get the insects in to pollinate their fruit trees. The bees have always been a key pollinating insect and a source of honey in rural areas, but bees are feared in urban areas. So a startup story can show how pesticides have affected bees. Bee populations are dropping along with other pollinators. So there's a decline in pollinators. Someone was talking to me the other day about bees in London being a pest because they're feared and people have allergies to them. So the way that we see bees varies from one place to the next, and we can find out about this at a global scale and try to work out how does it happen in our local area. Can we work out solutions together that we can try out to ensure that pollinators are respected and that they increase in their populations? So there are many opportunities to touch the past with our memories and for our imaginations to fly into the future to look at sustainable alternatives that can restore pollinators in a local area. For instance, Josie's granddad asked her, had she noticed that there are very few bees in their Howick garden compared with where they had been living in the Eastern Cape. Josie had been stung when she was young, so she avoided bees, but she had to admit that she had not heard or seen any bees in the sunny spring day, and that there had been a lot more in the Eastern Cape where there was less market gardening. Well, that can provide a useful starting point, but also what about pollinating at night? Moths and butterflies are pollinators, as important in bees. Butterflies pollinate during the day, and while many moths pollinate flowers at night, and there's some interesting examples, particularly cacti, where the white flowers shine in the dark and open up at night, whereas some flowers give off a scent at night that will attract moths. So there are many interesting ecological patterns of interdependence that can be explored using simple ecosystem modeling. But the most interesting practical challenge is to do a survey of the different types of insects in your home and in a garden. How do you know they are insects? Classify them: dangerous pests, nuisance pests, pollinators, no problem and beneficial. Ask your mother and your grandmother which they consider to be pests and why. What chemicals do you use in the home to control unwanted insects? How are they stored for safety? So insects and pollinators are a fascinating area for studying diversity, adaptation, and of course the challenges of the loss of pollinators on a global scale. And here are some materials that you can adapt and source for teaching this interesting topic.